You know that feeling when someone shows up for you just when you need it most? That's what Uber is all about. Not just a ride or dinner at your door. It's how Uber helps you show up for the moments that matter. Because showing up can turn a tough day around or make a good one even better. Whatever it is, big or small, Uber is on the way. So you can be on yours. Uber, on our way.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
NPR Voice, NPR Voice. Calm down. Tom gets so excited before a show. He's like running, he's doing laps around the studio. He's just so pumped up to be talking to you today.
Do you know why I'm so pumped up today?
No. Why don't you tell us why you're so pumped up today, Tom?
That's Don McDonald. I'm Tom Cock. Because you're in the studio.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a big day for me to see you face to face this way. This is
you see me face to face when I'm in the other studio. It's just electronically.
Just the fact that you've taken time to visit the Great Northwest to show up here.
And I brought the sun yesterday.
I saw
did.
I saw like
no,
a 1/4
you were
inch blue
blinded
sky.
by the sun yesterday.
Yeah, barely get my way home.
Blinded.
Tough
It was
day.
all because of me. All right, I'm getting comfortable. I'm in the studio. We're going to talk. What are we going to talk? Real money. We're going to talk about your life and the financial stuff that happens. How you understand it better, how you invest better, how you save better, how you avoid being ripped off. Please stop getting ripped off. Part of it's your own fault. It really is. It was interesting. We had an event today with our clients. You know, we have a little firm that manages money. And we met them all for a
it's not that little,
cheap
but
breakfast.
Okay.
We met them for a cheap breakfast.
Yeah, there was a couple complaints about no eggs, but I think they got through it.
Hey, we're a low-fee investment advisory firm, so you get a continental breakfast. But it was so great, one, to see everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so awesome. At the end of the event, a woman, she and her husband had just become clients.
I think last few weeks.
Yeah, just really
we
recently.
haven't lost all their money yet. It's kind of a good deal.
And she came up to me and she said, for all of our lives, it has been so confusing. They were with I don't know, Voya or somebody that I don't like. And they said, we never understood a word these people said. We didn't. It was like a foreign language. We didn't know what they said. And she goes, we came to your retirement last year. And I walked out. She says, I walked out after one of the classes, and I looked to my husband and said, I understood every word they said.
That's a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
We've broken through this Wall Street garbage
propaganda
that
machine
keeps you confused.
By the way, the other thing that was astounding to me, do you remember we went basically through the 2 hours and we didn't have a question about
the markets
or performance?
It was
Nobody
so great. At the beginning of the class, Tom goes, what do you think people are going to ask about? And I said, I don't know. I don't predict the future. And he goes, the market. They're going to ask about performance. They're going to ask about the market. Not a soul did.
Except
Tom.
At the
Tom
end, I
asked,
said, well, do you want to know? They're like, nah. One guy said, no, you already beat it out of us. We don't want we don't want that anymore. It was good.
Well, it's very interesting because what I said after that is apparently the Kool-Aid you drink did not kill you.
Yeah.
What we've tried to do on the show and will continue to do until one of us drops dead in one of these chairs is make the process of managing money as understandable as we can possibly do it.
And you, if you're doing it on your own or you're getting professional help, whatever it is, there are a few things you need to know.
And very few, actually.
Yeah, really, it's not that many.
I mean, we could do one show, and if everybody listened to that one show and actually listened, yeah, that's the other thing. We were talking in the car coming in about people who've listened to me for 20 years.
Yeah.
And still do exactly the wrong thing.
Well,
and
they come in and say, I've been listening to Don McDonald since, and then you look at their portfolio and go, which part were you listening to?
Apparently not the good part.
His personal life, the issues he faced, not the money thing, because this is not what he or I have recommended for a long time.
Long time. I mean, I did at one time think that you could build a portfolio of stocks and that you could effectively pick them, and that if you had good research, it worked. And then the data just blew me away. The fact is, nobody can, and nobody does.
Well, that's always the fascinating thing when regular individuals believe they can pick stocks to do better than just an index fund. And I say, well, wait a minute. The guys that are getting paid a lot of money, the guys that have all the advantages, the guys that have all the research, the guys that spend 18 hours a day on this and do all the tricks and take pictures of Walmart's parking lots to see how it's going, they don't do better than the market. Why would you be able to?
That's a fact. You cannot, and you should not be able to consistently beat the market because you're playing against people who have more knowledge than you, more information than you, more time than you, and even they don't get it right. As a matter of fact, there is the only evidence that any actively managed mutual fund beats the market, that any of them beat the market consistently, is totally refutable by luck.
And today we're going to give away free tickets to retirement.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Free retirement's next week. You can get a free ticket if you call us at 855-935-TALK and ask a question. 855-935-8255. Retirement is only a week away. And when we come back, we're going to talk with attorney Rick Gregorek, a good friend of ours, about the Secure Act.
How secure do you feel? We'll find out.
What a dumb name.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Do you know what your investment risk tolerance is? Take our free no-obligation risk quiz at TalkingRealMoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Well, welcome back to our little get-together on the radio. We're so glad you could be there with us because we love doing this stuff. We told people at our little meeting today how much we love doing this stuff. We love talking to you. We love saving you from all the bad people. I'm Don McDonald. That's Tom Cock. Our number, 855-935-TALK. That's 855-935-8255. And you can call us during the show. If you call during the show, which airs on Saturday, and if you listen to it as a podcast, it's not real, it's fake news. You call us on this Saturday, the 15th, between noon and 2 Pacific time at 855-935-TALK. You get free tickets to Retire Meet 2020 coming up next weekend, and if you don't come to this one, you got to wait till 2021 to come to another one.
Well, and here's the thing. If you like the show, you like what we say here, and you want to hear from us and hear from some other truly inspiring people, Paul Merriman, Herb Weisbaum, Rick Gregorek, Kevin Peterson, Barbara Devereaux, and Dr. Apollo Lupescu, you can come next Saturday because we have a morning and an afternoon session. This was an inside bet. I told Don no one would come to the afternoon session, and the afternoon session's basically sold out because you people are all a bunch of slackers that like to sleep in on the weekend. Get up and get going. So we still have tickets available for the early show at like 8 o'clock. Wow. So
yeah, we have a lot of those. I have a question.
Yeah.
I don't know this. I truly don't know this. So is Rick Gregorek an early riser or a night owl?
Well, let's find out. We're going to talk about the Secure Act now, which it became into law the first of this year, and Rick is an attorney. He is also the host of Your Partner-in-Law on another channel, and will be part of Retirement next week.
Excuse me? There are other radio stations?
Shocking as that may be. Don't worry, our agents are working to eliminate them as we speak.
Exactly. You're going down, Gregorek.
Right now, he's on the phone. Rick, how are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
Are you a morning guy or afternoon guy?
Well, Monday through Friday, I'm a morning guy. I do like to get a couple extra hours sleep on Saturday morning, though. And
So
of course,
he's-
Sunday morning, I'm up and early to do the radio show.
He's
So,
hedging.
He's hedging.
He's hedging.
Well, he sounds
I
kind of like an attorney.
Yeah. On one hand,
Yeah.
on the other. Yeah. Got it.
Well, I burn that candle at both ends, it seems like a lot.
That I believe. Well, thank you for burning it one more spot and joining us on the program.
But you look good scorched, Rick.
Yeah, you're very well done.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Don.
And so, I mean, this has come up. You just did 3 great classes on this. We're sold out. A lot of interest. The Secure Act. This is important for people that have saved money in retirement programs, right, at work, IRAs, that kind of thing. Give us the high level. What do people need to know about the Secure Act that will affect their retirement?
Well, Don, the Secure Act, which stands for the Setting Every Community Up for Retirement Enhancement.
Give me a break.
Wow, what an acronym.
Yeah.
And this act passed the House of Representatives in May of 2019 by a significant majority. It was 417 to 3 in the House of Representatives. And then it stalled in the Senate until mid-December, where miraculously, without any fanfare, it was approved and moved on to the president's signature as it was tied to the appropriations bill for our upcoming budget. And voila, this new law took effect January 1st, and it impacts everyone who has a 401k, IRA, a 457, any of the defined benefit profit sharing plans. So basically everyone's retirement planning, whether it's traditional or Roth. And it's a game changer, Tom. And when you just mentioned we've been holding classes on this, and all of them have been sellouts. And, I've done a lot of classes and seminars, workshops over the years, too many to count. And this one has a tremendous amount of interest because, well, as you guys know, that retirement assets are becoming, the average American's primary asset being equal to or even greater than the equity in their home.
Okay, but what's the biggest change, Rick? What's the big change that the Secure Act would bring to a regular person's life?
Well, to a regular person's life, when for their own IRA, their own retirement account, almost all the changes are going to be positive. For instance, the required minimum distribution age, the age at which people must start taking out of their IRAs, that's historically been 70.5 years. Well, that got stretched out to 72, so a little extra time before you have to start taking out the required minimum distributions.
Woohoo,
That's
18
generally
months.
A positive thing.
Get another 18 months.
I said, woohoo, 18 more months.
Yeah.
Well, it's 18 months of tax-deferred growth.
That's
There you
true.
go.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
and you don't have to pull it out and pay any income taxes during that year and a half or 2 year tax period.
Okay, Congress
probably.
giveth, but what does Congress taketh away?
Well, they gave a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of incentives to get new people on the plan through employer incentives. Elderly people, or older people past 70 and a half are going to be able to continue contributing to their traditional IRA plans. The big negative, the one that's got everybody out, kind of the public, oh my God, this is not right, is what we call the stretch out. So historically, up until January 1st, if your child was to inherit your IRA, they would be able to stretch it out over their life. So they might have anywhere from 40 plus years to stretch that account out in its tax-deferred status, taking only required minimum distributions. That whole process is gone in the Act. The new Act has eliminated required minimum distributions, and it now mandates that all retirement accounts must be fully withdrawn by the end of the 10th year. So now so the impact of this is going to be an accelerated income tax, higher taxes because of bracket creep for your beneficiaries. So this is a major tax burden, if you will, or tax increase to our beneficiaries. So the current plan holders probably have some benefits, but as we pass these along, the government does not want these accounts staying in these tax-deferred favorable statuses for decades after the plan participant has passed away.
But you could still get, though, with your spouse, you could still get an extended withdrawal over their life expectancy. So it's 10 years. That's a downside. There are some other things, too, that are unique in this law that we're going to touch on in just a minute. We're going to take a quick break, Rick. So hang on with us. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. 855-935-8255. Rick will also be joining us at Retire Meet 2020 coming up a week from today. And since we're doing a couple of sessions, we will do our very first, and I'm honestly going to go through old shows and pick out bests of.
And it's very limited, as you may know. There's really not that much best of material, so see how it goes.
333 podcasts.
I know. I'm just saying there's not that much good stuff there.
Oh, there's more good stuff than you can imagine. If you want to go to Retire Meet, you can get tickets. There's still some available. Just go to retiremeet.com or give us a call at 855-935-TALK and get free ones.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Download the advisor interview form and find out if your advisor's a fiduciary at talkingrealmoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
Rick Gregorick's an attorney and a elder law expert and a good friend and host of another radio show that will not be named. Quit naming his show.
I already said the show.
I know. Don't say it again.
Say the show. Don't say where it airs.
Yeah. Okay. Good. It's just against. There's a law or something.
You're a partner in law.
But he's your partner-in-law, though.
Right. He's your partner.
855-935-TALK is our phone number. I'm Don. That's Tom.
And say it publicly. What? I can take him as an in-law better than the other ones I've got, but that's a whole other thing.
Probably.
Yeah. Or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not sure.
Hey, Rick, quick question about the SECURE Act. We don't have a lot of time. Other than the stretch IRA going away, and the fact that you can extend now out to 72, is there anything else that's going to be really important to your average investor, your average person, doesn't have a complex estate, is a pretty simple retirement plan?
Well, Don, I think one of the things that has me concerned, and you and Tom and I have already talked about this a little bit, but the new act is going to create I hate to call it an opportunity, but an option. Let's say it's an option for people to annuitize their retirement account by using an insurance annuity. Now, historically, these have not been used in 401ks because 401k plan administrators are fiduciaries, and we've talked about that a lot, and I know you guys have talked about it tons on the radio, how important it is to have a fiduciary. Well, 401k people never felt unanimously that an annuity passed fiduciary muster just because of the way the contracts are written and the disclosures and the risk and things aren't really adequately disclosed. And this is going to be a big one because the new act is going to impose a requirement that all plan administrators provide illustrations to their plan participants annually as to what an annuity would look like if they were to take their retirement account and annuitize it. And you guys are far better qualified to talk about, the ups or the downs or the positives or the negatives on that. But I think in general, this is going to be an area where a lot of people might make mistakes because of, let's say, a sales pitch that's going to go on about the annuities and using the typical insurance industry fear of, something happening. So it's all fear-based marketing, and it's concerning to me because the retirement, these things have always been allowed or always been done in, say, state pension funds like 403Bs, the teachers and firefighters. And this happened to my own mother many years ago when these things first started. And about 10 years after, she chose the annuity, and after she did about 10 years later, she says, "Oh, my God, what did I do?"
We hear a lot of that, What did I do, from people. And, Rick, we're going to see you in a week at Retire Meet 2020. Rick will be there helping you out with elder law, estate planning issues.
Yep.
So if you want to learn about how to build a better retirement, well, you need to come to Retire Meet.
Exactly.
It's the big event.
People like Rick are going to be there. I mentioned Paul Lupescu, who's an incredible speaker on really using science in investing instead of happenstance, trying to pick stocks or fund. Gets rid of all that stuff and does it in a way you can understand it. And I love the fact that our friend Paul Merriman is going to be getting things started for both the morning and afternoon sessions on, kind of being inspired in retirement. Because there's a guy that's still active at, let's see, this is 2020.
92, 93
No, I think
now?
he'll be 77 this year. I think he's born in 43. Hope he doesn't mind me saying his age on the radio.
Ooh.
I think it's October.
See, it's better if I fool around and get it wrong.
Yeah, you were
because then they'll look at him and they'll go, "You look much younger than Don said you were."
You're not a day over 77.
72.
So, anyway.
855-935-TALK. That's our phone number, and that number's good all the time, but you can talk with us live on our Saturday show. And, gee, this is Saturday, right?
It is, and we'll get to Sandy here right after the bottom of the break.
855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, but that number also works anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we are here all the time to try to educate you, to try to reduce the confusion, to make money understanding.
Not to put the hoodoo on you. That's coming up a little later on the show, though. Wow.
That hoodoo that you do so well,
That's
Tom.
scary. Right now, bring the cow tongue out. Let's see how it goes.
Give us a call, 855-935-TALK. This is some of the most important conversation on the radio.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
It may not be the sexiest website in the world, but it's your one-stop shop for real money information. TalkingRealMoney.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Talking Real Money, I'm Don McDonald along with Tom Cock, and you are always invited to be an integral part of the show with a simple little phone call to 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, and you'll also get a code for free tickets to next week's Retire Meet 2020. Sandy, you're up. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hi, Sandy.
Hello, Don. Hello, Tom. I really appreciate you taking time to talk with me. I just find your enthusiasm and your confidence so infectious.
Thank you.
And well placed.
Go ahead.
And well placed. Our confidence. We are very confident because we know we're right.
Yeah, how about that?
That's important. So I have a very complicated situation. My husband passed away very unexpectedly. I had to sell our dream house. I have a huge portfolio. I have $1.6 million in cash from selling the dream house. I don't know what to do with. But more importantly, my question is a fund that I set up for my daughter. I set up, before she was even born, I put $100 away into a fund for her schooling. And she got her degree, did not use all this money. It's been growing. It's now at $137,000. I'm really nervous about the market, and I'm wondering, can I say the name?
You could say anything you want. Welcome to America.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I love it. It's a Columbia Threadneedle.
Yeah, Columbia used to
Exactly.
be a big Seattle group back in the day.
Okay, so it's it's like a tech stock investment fund, and it's grown exponentially. And I know, everybody's saying, "Oh, we can't go on. This is a 9-year high."
Okay, well, let's separate your two questions because I think it's important. Part one is the market, and it kind of affects part two. Part two, is the market. Part one's how do I do with this money if I'm not going to give it to my daughter? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
Well, no, I actually want to turn it. I'm still custodian of it. She's 28 years old. She makes, $44,000 a year. She and I purchased a house together. We did it with cash, but I want to refinance that house and get my savings back out of it.
Okay, well, what kind of account is it? If you're still the custodian,
Yeah, not the type of the fund,
would
but
be
so
a Uniform Gift of
it
Minors
can't-
Act, because once you turn 21, that's no longer your money. That's her money.
Well, although if you don't change the plating, does it say your name, custodian for her name?
It does. And actually, I
change
have an
the plating.
appointment. We're both going to go in to see my accountant to get that changed over. We've been meaning to do it forever and just simply haven't done it.
I mean, that would be the easy thing to do.
Technically, you don't even really have to do that. Because she's over 21, you could just contact the mutual fund company and say, plate it. And that just means change the name to her name only.
That's easy.
Because legally, right now, you don't own it.
Not your money.
And
it's her money.
I Right. I don't want to own it. I'm fine with that. What I want to know is should we just let it ride?
Well, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. We're
Yeah,
getting to that part.
that's
so
another part.
Yeah. So if the money is hers, what is going to be the purpose of that money? Is that, you said she makes $44,000 a year. You also mentioned something about buying a house, which it sounded like was already done. So this money would be long-term money, maybe for her retirement or use later?
Yes, perhaps, or in the event of, I don't know, just circumstances. It's her safety net, per se.
Well,
and
that's
yes, it could be her retirement.
Yeah, and that part is actually really important, in my opinion. The fact that now isn't this now? I don't know which Columbia Threadneedle fund you had, but is this Columbia Acorn now? Because they've all merged and changed names, and but it doesn't matter. It's an actively managed mutual fund.
It's all stocks, I believe. Correct.
It's all stocks.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
Correct.
And it's probably a limited number of securities because it is
that's why I was
managed.
Curious which of the funds it is,
But
because they've merged with Acorn.
The problem
Columbia Seligman Global Technology.
Columbia Seligman. They also merged with them.
The problem is going to be to try to change that is the cost basis of that, which I believe would be reset when she turns 21. Nope. Okay.
Nope.
So the problem there is going to be trying to sell out of that if you were so inclined, because you're going to pay a huge capital gains tax on the difference between what went in and what it was sold for.
But good news, she's not in the high tax bracket.
That is true, by the way.
So, you're going to eventually have to pay the taxes on it anyway. I would suggest that this fund may be a bit too aggressive. It is also relatively expensive, and I would look to some of the funds at Vanguard for her down the road. Maybe she spreads it out over a couple years, sells it, some of it this year, some of it next, but get into a more diversified portfolio.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Just about everything you need to know about money can be found at our website, talkingrealmoney.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Because it's really important. Hi, I'm Don McDonald. That's Tom Cock. Over there taking calls is Tom's son, Taylor. When you call 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255, you have an opportunity to grill Taylor on what it was like to be raised by a Tom. So,
wow, that's a whole afternoon discussion.
I'm telling you, they're going to be tied up for hours on the phone.
Very unpleasant for him. I'm sure he doesn't want to relive all of that, so don't
do
that, please.
It's like, consider it therapy.
I guess. Woo.
And if you call, you get free tickets to Retire Meet, which is next Saturday.
It is next Saturday. We have a morning session, an afternoon session. I have to say Don was right, which pains me in ways you have no idea.
And it's like a daily thing lately.
So he was the one who said, look, if we do the afternoon session, a lot of people would rather sleep in and come in the afternoon. And, a lot more of you are signing up for the afternoon than the morning.
Afternoon has 10 seats left.
I know. And then the morning
has like 50.
I know. I'm
telling you.
Go figure.
I was right.
I have to admit it.
Hey, during the break, I went and looked up that Columbia Seligman Global Tech A
Sandy
shares.
was just asking about this mutual fund with daughters.
This is just sort of a little mutual fund lesson. Just for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Columbia Seligman Global Tech. It used to be Seligman, Columbia, Seligman and Acorn and Threadneedle, and all these companies merged. Because, by the way, one of the reasons they all merged is because they're having a really hard time standing alone, these smaller mutual fund companies. Oh, this mic keeps springing up in the air on me.
Wanting you to stand up there, son.
I'm not standing,
all
darn
right.
it.
Okay.
You can stand, I'm sitting. It has... Oh, let's see.
Well, anyway.
Oh, $1.4 billion. That's not bad.
No, it's not tiny, but it's not big. But more importantly, here's what they're charging you for the pleasure of owning it.
When you bought it, it was 5.75% to get in. Just vanished. That money just vanishes right off the top. And then the annual expense ratio for this thing is 1.3%.
And just for perspective, I believe you can buy the Vanguard 500.
Well, let's say the Vanguard Total World Stock Index, which gets you the whole world.
How many?
0.1% per year.
So that's like 10 times more expensive. I think I have that right.
13.
Yeah, it's kind of an expense. Do you do that when you buy gas or food?
I want that gas that's 13 times more expensive over there.
You can do the number, $3 times 13 times. That's kind of expensive.
A little aside, this is so funny. We live in Florida. I live in Florida. My wife lives in Florida.
You're here for the
right
day.
next to Disney World, right on the side street.
You
There's
got
a
the secret
Shell
entrance.
station.
Yeah.
No, there's this Shell station, and the gas is $7.99 a gallon.
No.
I don't even know why they bother.
Well,
no one ever goes there.
Well, let's run the fund. You keep talking about the fund. I'll give you that number.
The fund has 72 stocks in it as of their most recent report, and over 7% of the portfolio is in one small company stock. Now, let me just talk about what all that means. One, it means your expenses are really high. For them to give you a return comparable to other stock funds, they have to actually make more money. They have to make more than 1%. They have to make 1.25% more than Vanguard would make.
Let me give you a little perspective on that, because we mentioned the gas analogy. Let's say you're paying $2.75 for a gallon. I don't know. That sounds low, but maybe
in Florida we pay $2.39.
All right. Well, I think $2.75 I saw the other day. Instead, if you use this mutual fund and instead of an index, you'd be paying $35.75. Do you pay that for gas?
No.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, people don't pay attention. It's like you're paying a lot more.
And when you buy a fund like this, you're getting a higher degree of volatility. That means it's going to be more scary. You are getting a higher degree of inherent risk in that you only have 72 stocks. And if one goes bankrupt, if it's that number one at 7.5%, you've permanently lost 7.5% of your portfolio. Not coming back.
I can't believe they're that concentrated. That is shocking.
It isn't to me.
Yeah. Somebody believes strongly that the lambs are still screaming.
The Lamb is the name of the technology company that they own 7.5%.
Ah, okay. Had that
not
wrong.
Real lambs, not like Mary had a little or Silence of the.
There you go.
Anyway, so now you've learned something. And the funds, instead of trying to beat the market, which is why people buy funds, let me rephrase that. Which is why people were sold that
thank
fund.
You. Nobody wakes up in the morning and said, I'm going to run off and buy I can't remember the name.
The Columbia Sullivan
I love how they call it the global,
A.
but it's got 10% invested internationally.
Yeah. It's 80% U.S. or cash and 10% international. Not really.
Tisk.
But the reality is you are likely to be more than likely, better off by just going and buying an international index fund. And one of the cheapest ones, the simplest ones we can find, it's not because we get anything from Vanguard, because we don't.
I never tried. We should call them. I don't know.
They're not going to give you anything.
Oh, okay.
Because they only charge 0.1%.
They've not a lot left to hand over.
They're going to charge you 0.1%. Instead of owning 72 stocks, you're going to own about 9,000 stocks. Yeah. And
truly global, too, by the way.
Truly global, because they're about 55% U.S., 45% international.
This is the VTWAX, VTWAX.
Yeah, we call it VTWAX because it spells wax at the end.
You could have one mutual fund and own the world.
And I just want to compare the performance here of those two.
Oh, that'd be a good exercise. By the way, this is the kind of thing we share with you next Saturday at Retire Meet, if I can do a shameless plug here.
It's all you've been doing.
I know. And you can go online today, retiremeet.com. Well, there's only a few days left to join
there
us.
are only about 60 tickets left.
You really ought to come if you're thinking about retirement. I think a very well-known guy wrote a commercial for this, and what he said was premier event, which I think is true. I don't think there's anything close to this in the Northwest. But more importantly, in 4 hours, think of all the information you get in 4 hours. You learn about investing, you learn about retirement income, you learn about Social Security, you learn about Medicare, long-term care, estate planning, inspiration or purpose in retirement. What am I missing? I said Medicare, right?
Yeah.
All of that there in 4 hours. That's a lot of information.
And Apollo Lepescu.
Well, I said investing. I mean, he's the PhD of investments. And it's all there. It's in 4 hours. And what is the ticket price today if they don't call?
$20.
$20. I mean, it's pretty inexpensive.
But if they call, it's free.
Well, that's true. That's the 855-935-TALK.
Isn't that interesting? VTWSX, which is the old fund, it vanished.
It's just gone?
Yeah, now they have VTWAX, and I don't have a long history on it. I thought it had
That was the one that maybe they changed the ticker?
I think Morningstar's done something weird.
Anyway, come out and join us. Don will be back in... Well, you're staying in town, right?
Yes, I'm staying in
They're
town.
not making you leave or anything?
No.
I alerted the local authorities. Apparently, they didn't pay attention.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. This Global Tech Fund, no wonder she liked it. It made 39% in the past year.
In the calendar year 2019?
No, year to date.
Wow. Not year to date.
Yeah, year one.
6 weeks?
No, a 52-week
12-month
period.
look back.
Yeah,
okay,
12
got
months. Oh, in 2019?
Yeah.
You want to guess?
Well,
55%.
Wow. Okay, won't say another word bad about it then.
But in
how about 2008?
In 2008, don't have it. That's too far back now.
Oh, you can't. Usually, you can go to the max.
Oh, I guess I could go to the chart up here, couldn't I? I'll look it up.
But here's the thing. Okay, that sounds great.
It does.
But you
Give
paid
me that fund.
a lot. You took a huge amount of risk because you're so concentrated. No way. I wouldn't touch it.
Oh, it's really dangerous. 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. Give us a call, and we'll get you tickets to Retire Meet. And we really love seeing you at these events, so you don't want to miss this one. This is the biggest we do every year.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I believe in helping everybody become a better investor. That's why we offer lots of free knowledge at TalkingRealMoney.com.
Your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
And seriously, if you want to go to the afternoon session for Retire Meet next week that starts at 1, well, you better hurry and get tickets because there are only about 10 seats left. We have more for the morning session, but we sell out every year, and so you want to get your tickets before everybody else grabs them. Go to retiremeet.com and order now. That's retiremeet.com, not M-E-A-T, retiremeet.com.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That should keep the lawyers happy.